Today I'm going to tell you guys why I think loneliness is actually good for you. I didn't really script this video, so I don't know what direction this video is going to go. Of course, I don't know what I'm going to title this video as well, but I'm going to just pretty much explain to you guys why I think loneliness is good for you, and then also just covering loneliness in a general topic, because like today's generation is becoming more and more isolated. We're not really interacting with each other, and it's partly due to social media, and then also things that have led to this general direction. So some of you are probably wondering why I say loneliness is actually good for you, and for personal growth, you grow the most when you're alone. And this is something that I notice, especially within myself. So everything I say is probably from experience or something that I have noticed and paid attention to. But essentially, if you guys notice this, when you're always constantly busy and you're always with somebody, you have your attention just focused on something else and not on loneliness and just on yourself, you're gonna notice that, hey, you don't have time to do like critical thinking, deep thinking, which is really important. And when you're alone, you're like, shit, you're just stuck in your head and you're just deep in the thoughts and you're thinking tons of things. You're like, what should I do with my life? What should I go out there and just make a difference in? And then you're just like, you wish there was somebody there with you to go along in your journey. And this is something I noticed that with myself. I'm like, okay, I want to go on this journey of essentially becoming successful, but nobody wants to follow that general path with me. So I realized that I have to go out there and just do it by myself. Of course, there's probably like-minded people like me, but in my current area of where I live at, and then my friends and all that, nobody has the general idea as me or the same beliefs. And this is something that you guys will notice and learn, is that everybody has different beliefs. One thing I do want to mention is that on a biological level, it makes sense of why loneliness happens, and I'll explain that briefly just so you guys kind of understand and put into perspective. So essentially, humans required each other to survive, and now in today's generation, you don't really need that. Everything is like so simple, it's so easy. Life is like on easy mode, and you can essentially get by just by yourself. You can go work a job, you can go to the store, go buy food. But back then in the day, you actually had to interact with people, talk to them. On top of that, you didn't have social media. So like social media is one of the worst things ever, just because it's making people more and more isolated. They're always constantly distracted. They're not interacting with people, going outdoors, or just going and doing activities that involve socializing. Even though social media in its own words shows that you should be socializing online, but people don't even do that. But that's one of the factors that is playing to people becoming more isolated. Of course, there are other things playing as well, but if you guys really want that personal growth, you're gonna have to be by yourself. Like, there's tons of songs out there that like they talk about loneliness, and this shows you that people are lonely. And this is something that you guys need to realize, is that loneliness is temporary. That's one thing that I used to think. I was like, shit, this is gonna last forever. I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life and nobody else is gonna be there with me. And of course, you can think of stuff of like, hey, I was born alone in this world, I'm gonna go out alone in this world. But it's one of those things that you'll have ups and downs, and that's what you need to realize, is that in life there's always gonna be ups and downs. If your life is always easy and happy, good times, you're never gonna appreciate those good times. And the reason I say that is because like hardships will make you realize that these good times are really important and special and they're meaningful. The main thing I want you guys to take home is that, hey, this loneliness, this feeling, it's from a biological perspective, and on top of that, it's temporary. And realize that eventually somebody will come into your life. You don't know when. There's also the possibility that it may not happen. I won't deny that fact. But if you're putting in the work of trying to better your life, trying to make a difference in it, you will see other people paying attention to you and they'll want to be a part of it. Because when you start leveling up, people are going to be wanting to be with you. when you become that rich millionaire or that successful person, people are going to be like, this person has something that I want, and they'll try interacting with you. They'll put you up here on a pedestal, and they'll look up to you, and they'll want to befriend you. Of course, at the end of the day, you can surround yourself by tons and tons of people, and you'll still feel lonely. So what I mean by this is, there was a relationship that I got into, and of course it was nice. I appreciated every moment that I had of it, but when I was hanging out with this girl, I still felt alone at the end of the day. Even though we're going out doing activities together, it's one of those things that I felt incompleted, and of course somebody can't complete you. That's one thing you guys need to realize, is that you'll have expectations of maybe making friends or getting into that relationship, and it's going to make you think that, hey, this is going to solve all my problems, all my issues. But it's not. You need to focus on these issues, all these things by yourself. So you're going to have a lot of downtime, especially if you're feeling lonely or if you're by yourself. So think about it. What's going to truly make you happy? So when you start spending the time to think about it, and you're like, okay, is somebody else really going to fill that void and make you happy? Most likely they will not. So think of other things. What goals, what achievements do you want? Because eventually at the end of the day, you're going to look back on your life and you're going to be like, what did I make of it? And that's the thing I love about being alone. You have this critical time to think to yourself and make a difference for your future version of yourself. So to sum that up for you guys real quick is, realize that nobody else can fill that void of loneliness for you. That's the main thing I want you guys to take from that point of being alone, is when you're surrounded by people, you're gonna just feel alone, even if you know you're in a group of people and you're like, shit, I should still be happy. There's times that I've been hanging out with friends, or like that relationship that I told you guys about, I still felt alone at the end of the day. And it's natural, guys. Like I said, there's times you're gonna be lonely, and other times you're gonna just be feeling really happy, really proud, and just having a good time. Because like I'm in a relationship right now, and I could honestly say I don't feel lonely. But then again, my loneliness of this subject matter is a whole lot more improved because I spent that time critically thinking about it and realizing that, hey, if I'm lonely, I'm lonely. If I'm not, cool, it's whatever. It's something that I'm not going to be really focusing on. The other thing I want to talk about is, when you're feeling lonely, don't let certain things stop you from doing certain goals and all that. So what I'm trying to get at is, I was not pursuing certain dreams or certain desires that I wanted because I didn't want to do it alone. And you have to power through that. Of course, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel weird at first. You're going to be like, oh, I want to try this restaurant, but I have nobody to go out there and go eat with. And you have to think to yourself at the end of the day, do you want to try that food, or do you want to just go there with somebody else? And me, I'd much rather go and try that food, see how that restaurant is, see how the service is. And it may feel weird going in by yourself, but you're going to have to do a lot of activities by yourself. There's not going to be somebody holding your hand along the whole entire way of your whole entire life, because obviously right now you're probably alone watching this video. And I'm speaking from experience because I watch videos by myself. There's so many activities that you do by yourself. So what's one more added to the list? Why is that different? Why are you letting it stop you from achieving certain goals? So go out there and just power through it. Because like, I was so nervous starting my business. I was like, shit, I don't want to do it by myself. Nervous starting my YouTube channel. I was like, I want to make different YouTube channels, but with like friends and all that. But then I realized, I was like, why not make a YouTube channel by myself, and I can do it any way you want. And that's the beautiful part about doing things by yourself, being alone, is that you don't need to wait for anybody. You can just go out there and just go do it. There's a saying out there for you guys to understand. If you want to travel fast, if you want to get to your destination fast, travel alone. If you want to get there further, travel together. So realize that traveling alone isn't the worst thing. You'll get to your destination a whole lot quicker. And to put that into perspective for you guys is that I work out alone, and I used to go with a gym partner. And when I first started off, I never wanted to work out alone. I found it so weird, so awkward. But then I realized that, hey, it sucks waiting for somebody to show up to the gym, or they show up late. You're like, dude, it's been like 20 minutes and I was waiting for you. So eventually you'll learn that you can do these things alone. I never thought I would be able to work out alone. Of course, some of you guys may be like, what's the big deal? But for certain little people, the smallest things can be the biggest deal ever. And for me at the time, that was one of the hugest things ever. And right now, currently, I prefer to work out alone. I'm like, whoa, it's so enjoyable. On top of that, I can do whatever I want. I can show up at whatever time, and it's actually a whole lot better. Anyways, guys, that's going to pretty much sum up the video. Don't forget to smash that like button, and I hope you guys appreciated this and it helped you somewhat, but I'll go ahead and catch you guys on the next one.